How you doing?
Oh,
We
doing
sound like
fine.
we're cities apart. We're only a few rooms apart. We're doing this because, Joe, we couldn't stand to be in the same room as you.
That's cute.
Just kidding. I'm here with Phil Collins, and
afternoon.
Phil's in town with his band Genesis to do 3 nights at the
I know.
Spectrum. That's pretty good.
Sacre bleu, yes. We keep adding a night every year we come here. In New York, after we finish in Philly, we're going to play the Savoy before we play Nassau and Meadowlands.
Oh, so you are doing...
We're trying to slip in the odd club and very small sort of theatre club.
Keeps it fresh, keeps it different perspective
Yeah.
each night?
I mean, we must want to do it because it's occupied nights off, and we sort of said, there's a night off here, let's put a gig in, you know. So
Or maybe you don't know what else to do.
No, well, we got plenty of things to do, believe me.
Why don't we play the title track from the LP, then we'll come back, you can tell us what it means and how you got together with Earth, Wind and Fire. 93.3 WMMR, let's hear the title track.
Hello, this is Phil Collins here. Who's there?
You got Mark Porter here, Philadelphia.
Hello, Mark. How you
How
doing?
you doing, Phil?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Listen, I was wondering, do you think it ever possible that, Peter Gabriel would come back and do some work with Genesis again, or maybe you go and doing some work with him?
Well, I've done some work with him. I mean, I played on his last record,
Uh-huh.
on the third one.
Okay.
And also before that, when he didn't have a group, because his American group was proving too expensive to keep on as a full-time band, he didn't have a group, so I volunteered my my drums, and John Giblin played bass, and Joe Partridge played guitar. We basically got a group together to play the stuff that was eventually to appear on his last album. And
Uh-huh.
we did some gigs in England. We did a festival and 2 or 3 other dates, and it was very good fun. I mean, I love Peter's music, and we all stay in touch with him. As far as him coming back to the band, I think that's very unlikely. But I mean, it's not because of the bad feeling. It's just because we're never in the same place at the same time, and he's got too much music to write, and we've all got too much music to play too. So.
Fantastic. Okay, listen, your new album's fantastic.
Oh,
Love every bit of it.
glad you love it.
And I'll see you at the show tonight.
Okay,
Going to be there.
thanks, Mark. Bye bye.
Legs. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Hello, this is Phil Collins. Who's that?
Hello, Phil. I'm curious. Is Chester and...
Hello, Curious.
I'm curious. Is Darryl and Chester going to be with you again this time around?
I hope so. They were here last night. No, they're going to be with us. They're part of the group, really. I mean, although they don't play on the albums, which is
Right.
that's more strategic than.
Well, I threw it off, I guess. And then there were 3,
Yeah, well, I mean, that on the albums, I mean, we still are a 3-piece group, but it's just on the road. Obviously, it's.
I see. I have a suggestion for a Thanksgiving song.
Oh, you do? Oh, what's that?
It goes, over the fields and through the woods, to grandmother's house we go. You ever heard that one?
No, but if you want to come along and you can sing it. Over the hills and through the woods.
Yeah,
That sounds like the beginning of a porno movie.
not really. But
No, okay, I know. We'll edit it. Over the hills and through the woods. Well, I'll check up on the words and music, and if the other people in the audience might know it, then we'll do it.
And one more question. Are you a football fan?
English football or American football?
American.
America. I don't understand the rules, man. Ice hockey is more my line.
I see. Do you play?
No, but I mean, I can understand it easier. There's less people on the pitch.
I see. Well, good luck, and I hope to see you tonight down there.
I hope so too.
Okay,
Have you-
good
have-
song.
Hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Phil Collins here. Who's there?
Oh, Phil Collins?
That's-
Wow. I just wanted to know, this is Rich Cates,
Hi, Rich.
and I wanted to know, we all know how you made your solo album and everything, and we want to know, what effects does that have on the, on Genesis? Are you thinking of going out on a solo career, or what?
Well, there's really no threat at all to the group's existence by the fact that we all do solo albums. I mean, we've all got this outlet, and so that's the most important thing. We all write lots of songs, and we need that other outlet apart from the group, because one album a year isn't enough time. But I think it's been very positive for the group. I mean, we've all learnt a lot from doing albums on our own. We learn the strength of the group, and it means that we can save our own songs for our own albums and leave the bits that we think we can't finish. We leave those bits unfinished and bring them into the group situation, and we throw them in the air, and everybody else seems to be able to sort of do something with them, and that's why you get something like the new album, which is basically group oriented.
93.3 WMMR. You like it too, huh?
Oh yeah.
I thought it's my favorite fast one. Why don't you put your pictures on the albums?
Well, we did on the inside sleeve this time.
Yeah,
That's the first time ever.
Why?
We've always had this idea that we look the same as everybody else, and so therefore, you know, you try and put out an image on an album.
But the girls want to see.
Well, the girls have to buy the album and open it up. This time.
Okay. What are you going to do
Well, in
Thanksgiving,
fact,
don't you think?
when you're going back as far as Trick of the Tail, before that, songs, you know, certain songs were individual as well, but we just tended to sort of, for the sake of simplicity, tended to credit everything to the group, because we felt we all sort of gave a contribution to every song in the arrangement stage, which was, you know, as much as composition. But now we just sort of feel we would like to get back to writing more songs together, because we felt that in the past that a lot of the best songs we've ever done have been things we've written together. And that's really the main reason for being in a group, is to do things together, because if you're just writing a song on your own, you might just as well record it on your own and finish it off on your own. And particularly you talked about, and then there were three, where I think each person tended to have a pretty strong voice in how the song ended up sounding, the actual writer did, much more so than the other two members.
Was this the result of circumstances? I mean, this was the first album you'd done when you were down to three, Steve having left the band.
I think it was more the end of a sort of, after Pete left, and there was a kind of desire, I think, to prove yourself as a writer, because up until then no one quite knew who'd done what, you know. And it was a natural progression, I think, you know, and suddenly, without really realising it, we found we were all arriving with lots of songs, and we couldn't actually, we were trying to get some group stuff going, but probably because we put so much material into the individual songs, there were no little bits around, which often is how the group stuff starts, at all.
The decision to produce the album yourselves, after this amount of time, and it is the first album you've produced, John.
It never really dawned on us, actually. I think we all have felt that we've all produced all the albums. Right. It's just that, I mean, you know, because we definitely have had much more of a role. I mean, we say produce this new album as opposed to all the others, which we'd never had, which we didn't do. We were basically, you know, we had to foot the bill and say, we don't like this, change the sound, you know, or we want this kind of sound. And a lot of the time, towards the later days, it was actually coming off the instruments anyway. It was just, you know, production is as much a part of anything else. It's actually the mixing and the areas, the territorial rights where you can't go, you know, which are becoming less and less specific as we all get better at it. I mean, you know, we're all getting down now. We're down to working the faders and the knobs, and mucking about with the EQ and sort of, you know, trying different limiters and trying different noise, all that kind of stuff that goes into producing. We have access to, whereas before, and I'm sure if David was in the same room as us, he'd say, well, you could have always done it. But I mean, the fact is that we always felt that it was his area, and we felt, you know, a bit shy.
And he was there.
Well, you have to take the producer's, or the co-producer's ideas as seriously as your own, really, because he's just at that stage, in the sound stage.
And in some respects, I mean, it could be considered as more important because he is not involved in the music, apart from the fact of liking it or not liking it. And so if he says, no, you can't, don't do that, I don't like that, you think, well, maybe he is right, or whatever. And I think now, the three of us, behind the controls, I mean, it's a bit, you know, there was lovely moments when we were making Abacab when Hugh was actually ill. You know, we had this farm and he was ill in bed for a week with some virus. And the three of us and little Jeff, who's our technician, he came in and sort of operated the machines, and there was sweat dripping off the hands, clammy hands, dropping in and dropping out. You know, this taboo area of actually recording the thing yourself. We suddenly was sort of, you know, it was us. It was take off your clothes and live. It was, you know, we were mucking up in knobs. Needles were going over like that, you know. But
yeah, I mean, I think the three of us are actually incredibly brave when it comes to it, because we sort of much less preconceived ideas about what sound should be. You know, if it sounds good to us, it doesn't matter how you get there or what the needles are doing or what the sort of technical side is. And it would never have been possible to get to that stage with Dave, I think, because he was probably almost too conscientious of what his job was, you know.
Yeah. Certainly, there's a much less preconceived notion of what Genesis sound like on the new album.
Yeah.
We've always sounded like that. The thing is that this album sounds a lot more like we've sounded in the rehearsal room, which has always been like that for many years, and we've managed to catch something on this album for the first time, really.
It's a little less gloss, you know, a bit more emotion and less gloss.